ụlọ nsọ gị Chukwu ka ị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka ị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya.
Otito niile dịrị Chineke, ọbasi dị elu, Chukwu obiọma, Chidi ebere, Olise nwa amara. Ka ụzọ anyị niile ọbụla bụrụ ihe, ka ihe niile anyị kpatara aka bụrụ sọ mma, ka ụwa niile site n'ozi ọma anya nwụsị obi aṅụrị taa na ebighị ebi. Ọfọ ya gazie ise. All praises to Chi, the creator, the supreme being, Chi the good, Chi the magnificent, Chi the merciful. Let everywhere of our lives be light. Let all our acts be crowned with good. And may the work prosper from our ministry, now and forever. So let it be. For Yagazi, he say, Amen. But I'm done with that prayer, and I'm still I'm waiting on Okedibia to get back in. There we go. I was up for words for a second. I'm like, what? This was not part of the script.
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm good. I'm good. Goodness. Every day above ground is a good day. We're all blessed. So let's go.
It's a good day. It's a good day. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome everyone to this special segment of Chism Live. This one is very, very important because we are living in very trying times and we want to address that. But before we do that, I want to remind everybody that today is, 2 days ago was Yudi's Earth Day.
Yes. Yeah. And it was fun.
Celebrated his birthday, and we all gathered yesterday at a restaurant and celebrated his day with him. It was really nice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys.
And here you are blowing out your candle.
Oh, you got to put that. Oh my God.
We got you.
How embarrassing.
We got you. No, that's not embarrassing. That's beautiful.
The way I was blowing the smoke, the way I was blowing out the fire, I was like, oh Lord, that's not my most handsome face, man.
So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate it. That was great. That was so good. Yeah.
anymore. I think that for whatever reason, I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the engineering here. So bear with me because things are coming in and out and jumping in and out. I have some comments from people I'm trying to show, but it's not showing. So hopefully, as we go along and I play some music, I'll be able to introduce those comments. And so anyway, Yudi, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Okay, Dibia, thank you. That was beautiful. I had a good time. It was quite a pleasant surprise. I was shocked for about 2-3 seconds. I was just looking at you guys. I was like, what are they doing here? What's going on? Then of course it clicked. I'm like, you guys are just something else. It was great. I appreciate it. My wife kept it so
secret.
Hell out of me.
It was a secret. We kept it a secret from you. So anyway, nonetheless, happy birthday. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Welcome, Akachi. Akachi Ndewo. Welcome. I know you know what Wanyoma means. Beautiful woman. Welcome. Okay, the Charles. Okay, madam. Ndewo.
I always call him the greatest African. That's what I call Charles all the time. I say, to me, yeah, he's right or wrong with the best of them. So let's go.
And I want to welcome DOCC Ndewo.
My man, yeah.
Yes. So welcome. And as you're coming in, I'll be welcoming you. And I thank you for being here today. I just want to start by reminding everyone what day this is of the month, what month we're in the African Uzonto calendar. It is our horoscope, and today, June the 30th through July the 27th is Ufufe, the month of Ufufe. For those of you born during that time frame, you fall under Ufufe, and so Yudi, your birth month is Ufufe. So
yeah, the month of Ufufe.
Yes, and it's named to the enjoining actually, or to Chineke's worship in the way that everybody understands best, without bitterness. So it's really a month that is dedicated to peace, because when you're connected to Chineke, then you have to be a peaceful soul. So that's why where our conversation today is based on peace, because we have challenges in our world today, everywhere, all over the world. But hopefully, those of you who are born in the month of Ufufe will lead the way, helping the rest of the world understand that peace is a way to ensure survival. Because we're not going to survive hating each other. It's not going to work. It's not. So, but this month has the virtues that we have to promote within ourselves is commitment. What are you committed to? What is it that you want to do? You must commit to it. You must commit to it. We talk about, we have all grandiose ideas, but if you don't commit to it, if you don't make it happen, it's not going to happen. And you have to have tenaciousness. You have to be tenacious. Go after it with all of your capacity. Commit to something and go after it. This month, certainly after that as well, be tenacious in going after your commitment, and be tactful. Don't give away don't give away the game. Be tactful how you approach things, how you approach others. That's very, very important. And this symbol for Ufufe is 2 palms facing up, which is indicative of prayer, commitment, connection with Chineke. And then we find that this month is very, very important to look at what would our ancestors have us do this month. First of all, stay clear of people who are selfish, who care about just themselves and not other people, who just don't care about others, about other people's well-being. You're never anybody who thinks that they are going to be successful in life by putting other people down, by pushing other people away, by taking from others. you're never going to find peace. See, peace is part of living. Udo, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If there's no peace in your life, no peace around you, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are. You will not enjoy that life. Because we believe that that Chineke created this world for all of us. So for anybody, all those who want to create a caste system, so to speak, all over the world, if you want to create a caste system that makes you superior to any of God's children, then you can enjoy this life. You're living a lie, because everybody has the right to be here on this earth. And so this is one of the things that our ancestors want us to know. You cannot claim the world just for yourself at the expense of everybody else. Be flexible. Be flexible in your thinking, because the world is full of different ideas, different opinions, different ideologies. You have to be open. You have to be flexible to change your mind and your thoughts about anything, about certain things, actually, that differ from your own manner of doing things. Just because this is the way that Chineke has made the world. Diversity. Without diversity, without love for all human beings, and I'm not talking about criminals. Criminals deserve whatever they get. I'm talking about just human beings. Peace does not come to those who fight other human beings and take the spot of I am superior. That superiority thing, oh, boogie, it will not lead you anywhere. You yourself who feels that you're superior, you have a right to feel that you're important, but so does everybody else. This month reminds us that if we have expectations, if we have things that we want to do it now. Sometimes we think tomorrow will come. I was just talking to my son and my niece today. Sometimes we put away things that we can do today because we believe tomorrow will come. Tomorrow never comes. See, yesterday, tomorrow has become today. So every day that you say tomorrow, when you wake up, that tomorrow is now today. And you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve. You keep pushing it up, keep pushing it away. Just remember, there are so many people who are buried today with their great ideas because they were waiting for tomorrow to come. Don't be one of those. Here lies somebody waiting for tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. So everything that we want to do today, do it. Enjoy your life today. One of the things that I also want to remind you, that when Chineke is ready for you to go, that's when you go. Not a doctor cannot tell you it's your time to go. Even if you have a disease, even if you have something, tomorrow never comes. So all you have is today. So enjoy the life you have today until you're called home. So for people who decide, are consumed by, I got to do this to be healthy. And yes, be healthy, but don't be consumed with health that you don't live anymore. Tomorrow never comes. Don't let your ambitions go to the grave with you. And what does this month require that you support? Spirituality, connection with Chineke, and all cultural things, programs that apply to you. And while you're doing that, give other people the room to enjoy theirs as well. There's nobody that Chineke says is better than the other. Your culture is your truth. Live accordingly and let other people live and let live. That's the 18 positive lights of Godianism. Says that everybody has the right to go to Chineke the way they understand best, without bitterness. That is the answer for the confusion that religion is creating in our world today. We may not admit it, that the underlying chaos in our world is our refusal to acknowledge that we have the lack of courage to make that purgative light become a reality. Our topic of discussion today is finding peace in the midst of mayhem. Finding peace in the midst of mayhem. Is it possible? Can we really find peace in the midst of mayhem? Well, if you're looking for peace outside of yourself, you will not find it. We are surrounded by overwhelming chaos. What country? Is it the United States? Is it in Africa? Is it in Europe? Where is there no strife? The strife, confusion everywhere, unrest, division, uncertainty everywhere. But most importantly, uncertainty in our personal lives. These turbulent times require us not to feel lost and powerless, but for us to go within. Listen inwardly and talk to Chineke when you are surrounded by chaos. The people creating the chaos cannot give you the answer for peace. You have to find peace within. You have to go to Chineke and ask, which way should I go? There are some key points that we need to know today. First of all, don't pretend that chaos is not happening. Don't pretend it's not happening, because it's happening. Look and see. Genti, Lanya, everywhere. Recognize that the reality of the tumultuous world we're in is real. It's not a joke. Maybe it's not happening in your backyard right now, but you're part of this world. We're all interconnected. It may not be in your world today, but it may be in your backyard tomorrow. I understand that some of us are anxious and feel fearful. That's valid. Fearfulness is valid because what's going on around us, the confusion of not knowing your humanity, knowing that somebody somewhere does not value you as a human being. I can take you out anytime just because they want to. That causes fear. But I want you to know that as far as Chineke is concerned, you are somebody. Reflect on that. Reflect on your own validity before Chineke, so that you know that it's not you causing the chaos in the world, and you don't want to contribute to that. Don't create chaos for anybody else. But don't allow the people who are creating the chaos to impact your mind and make you think, I'm not good enough because they say so. Unubonye, who are you? Who are you? Nobody can tell you you're nobody. Chineke has already decreed that you're somebody. That's why you were brought into this world. If there was no need for you, the day you were born, you would have been gone. But you were allowed to be nurtured and become a human being, an adult. From childhood to adulthood, you're somebody. So during this time of tumultuous chaos, you have to find inner peace. You have to find inner peace. This is a time that you really have to concentrate on yourself, on your mind, because you need a healthy mind to survive what is going on around us. Turn inward. In the face of mayhem, you must turn inward. Don't wiggle out. Don't wiggle out. Speak to yourself. Talk to yourself. Caution yourself. Embrace practices around you that will help you with tranquility. This is not the time, and I say this is not the time to be out in the world just doing all kinds of things. It is time for you to take a moment, size out what's going on around you, and go inwardly and find some level of tranquility so you can deal with, so you can meditate, you can do prayer, you can do mindfulness, whatever. Commit to setting aside each time, every day, to reflect on this world, what your role you're playing in it, what is happening to you, how can you solve it? Breathe. Breathing is a good thing. It helps you find calm. You don't have to react. Sometimes we're reactionary. Oh, I'm going to do this. No, you don't have to. Two people can be crazy at the same time. If one person is acting crazy, you got to be the calm person.
Yeah, true.
Because Chineke has a way of those who think they are in charge, they are not. The only person in charge is Chineke. The only spirit in charge is Chineke. And when the time is right, you will find that out. So for those who think they own the world, for those who think everything belongs to them, for those who think that you don't matter, inhale and exhale. Find calm amidst the idiocy, amidst the storm. Ibu mmadụ, Chineke kere gị. Chineke kere gị. And this is the time for all of us to foster community connections. Who is your community? Where are they? Because all of us are going through this thing. We're not on this journey alone. Find your community and strengthen ties with them, those around you. This is where you're going to find solace. Isolating yourself from your community. It's not a good idea. Reach out to your neighbors. Do you even know your neighbors? How many of you, tell the truth, how many of you know your neighbors? Probably not.
I don't know mine. Well, I used to, but I don't talk to them much anymore because, they're into their own, I'm into mine, and I don't really cross those kinds of boundaries because, in this country, I know today they're your friends, tomorrow you have some kind of boundary dispute about where the fence stops or anything like that. So, but no, you're right. I don't. This is not Africa.
Yeah, well, we're not at home. Many of us are not at home, but where we live, we can find some members in the community. Look at, I always look at the directory, and I find people who are from where I'm from, and I go out and I meet them.
Yeah.
And also some of my kind neighbors, at least they give me the impression they're kind,
Mhm.
And one more thing. The reason why I say that we need to make sure that we're not focused on tomorrow. You don't know how you're going to go. 2 days ago, actually, my husband almost lost his life. He was stung by yellow jackets all over his body. Right next to around the house, there was a nest of yellow jackets. And I saw them, and I was raking, and I saw them, and I told my husband, you need to come and see this. Eventually, when he went to check it, he used a rake and, scattered the leaves, obviously, and there's the nest, and they gave chase. They stung him all through, everywhere, all over his body. He raced to the garage screaming, and I had to try and get rid of them, and they were all over the place, all over his body. And then one of them stung me as I was trying to, it was chaos. By the time EMS came, he was hardly breathing. It was that bad. So when you're looking at tomorrow, thinking it's age that will kill you, it may not be age. 2 days ago, we did not know that this man was going to fight for his life because of yellow jackets. What are
Wasp.
they? Wasp. There was no way that we envisioned that to be the possibility, but it was that real. It was that bad. Okay, so enjoy your life. Have compassion for others. Reach out to others. You just never know. You just never know what will happen. But we're not in this fight by ourselves when it comes to reaching out to others. You may get ideas from others, how they're dealing with it. Even join a group if you have to. And one more thing before I hand this to you, Dibia UD. You must focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
See, we get so overwhelmed. Right now, Dibia UD, I can tell you, it's overwhelming. Because a lot of what's going on around us, doesn't make sense. You wouldn't even think human beings think along the lines of subjugating any other human beings. I mean, we had it in the past when people like Hitler and all that, thought that certain lives are not worth it. But it's going on right now. Everywhere. People are creating this caste system. There's some of those kinds of things you can't control. You get overwhelmed because you can't change them. You can't change those people. But you have to find what it is you can redirect your energy towards and what actions you can take based on that redirection. In the midst of all this chaos, set some small achievable goals for yourself, your family, your community if you have to. It could be just, as a matter of fact, DBUD, just even daily acts of kindness.
Yeah.
You see an old lady that's trying, I saw the other day, but somebody did come out of the car and help her. She was trying to cross the street and she was taking her time and people are honking. What are you honking? It's an old lady with her cane trying to cross can you wait? Can you just wait? She was taking her time, but that's as fast as she could go. Then you have people honking for her to do what? To run? She got a cane. So this guy got out of his car and just in front of everybody was just talking to everybody, telling them to just shut up and all that kind of stuff, and giving the poor lady an opportunity to cross. Just simple acts of kindness. Or maybe even some personal projects that brings you joy. Just remember, even the smallest steps that you take can lead to meaningful change. Meaningful change. Oh, you did one more thing. We must embrace hope and resilience.
Yeah.
We cannot give up hope. See, once you give up hope, there's a song. I am powerful, I'm good in my heart. There's nothing that can keep me from achieving what I want to achieve. Nothing. Pardon me. There's nothing that can keep me from my relationship with God. And when I have my relationship with Chineke, that means I'm resilient. That means I have the opportunity to be resilient. That means there's hope for me. But when we start putting our emphasis on our relationship with the world, with people who demean us just so we can be like them, that's when you lose hope. Acceptance by other people by wicked means, it's not hopeful. It's not hope. It's not resilience. So you have to build that within yourself. Even in the face of adversity, build hope within yourself, within your community. And if you notice that somebody is really struggling, share your stories, your own stories of overcoming challenges. Share it so you can lift them up and let them know, don't give up. You can persevere. You can persevere. Don't let the situation, the chaos in the world, make you feel there's nothing that you can do. Be resilient. Go and find people that will help you overcome whatever challenges you have, so that you can find a greater purpose, so you can improve your mental health, because your mental health is very, very important. That is part of one of the reasons that you can survive what's going on is your mental health. You need all of that to be able to navigate the mayhem that we see happening today. That's the only way you can find grace and the strength to overcome the challenges with it. That's it for me. UD, take over. Your thoughts.
Well, I'm just about to say, what else is there to say after that one from you? It's so inspiring, educational. It just kind of allows you to, how you say, take the blinders off and see the world for what it is and how you should handle things. The definition of stress and, peace and perseverance, all those things that we need to be able to handle stress. So you have said just about all there is to say. So what I'm saying is not really, adding to what you said already, because I can't really add anything more to it. But what I'll do is just go through certain ways of thinking that I think, or certain information that I think that we should have in mind while we're dealing with all these things that we're dealing with in today's world, in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in South America, in the Middle East, Iran, and all that stuff, Israel, and Palestinians. It's conflict everywhere. And the sad thing about conflict is that it's part of human evolution. It's always been part of it.
Mhm.
There's never been a time in human history where there was peace everywhere in the world. It just hasn't ever happened.
Mhm.
With Nkomi, which I feel that I possess, and I know you possess that too, we're able to think outside the box so that we can understand a little bit of these relationships between good and evil. We need to understand the nature of God, the good, the evil. We have been raised to think that only good things are associated with Chineke, with God. We leave the other side of it. We forget that spiritually, it's about duality, up and down, left and right, front and back. One does not exist without the other. If you don't know what the front is, you can't tell me what the back is because you have no understanding of it. But you must understand the nature of Chineke for you to be able to handle stress. I always tell my son, this too shall pass. When did he? Be patient. It's part of your evolution, good or bad. You must look at life for what it is, armed with Nkomi, deep thinking, deep philosophical understanding of what's before you, understanding that it's not always going to be good. Now, sometimes you mix it with the bad, but you have to understand. People always ask this question: do you believe in God? Do you believe in Chineke? And your answer is always going to be yes or no. And if you believe in Chineke, you're going to see all the good. And if you don't believe in Chineke, you're going to see all the bad. And you're going to give yourself a reason why you don't believe in God. Because you don't understand the nature of Chineke. You don't understand that if you believe that God created everything in the universe, if you believe that Chineke created everything that exists, only if you believe, you will understand that the bad comes with the good. They're just opposites. You're dead, you're alive. They're opposites. It's the duality of existence. One does not exist without the other, because without the other, you wouldn't know this one. You got to understand both of them. And if you believe that Chineke created everything in this world, and you have, you're in tune with human history of all cultures, and I've always understood that somewhere along the line, good and bad maintains a balance between the population and food supply. It's just the way it is. If there was no chaos, there will be chaos. Because if there was no chaos, there'll be so many people in this world that you end up with chaos anyway, because you can't feed them, you can't house them, and you can't deal with the emotional extremities that will come at you when people are feeling stressed. We've been feeling stressed, especially people of African ancestry. We've been feeling stressed since the European showed his face in Africa, or her face. Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, and nervous. We've been nervous a long time, since the European and the Arab came to the shores of Africa with the Bible and the Quran in tow. Stress is in your body. It's your body's reactions to challenges and demands. In a short burst, stress can be positive because it can allow you to move from one bad situation to a better one. By managing that stress and understanding why you're stressed, it's easier to figure out how to unstress yourself by just adopting this one rule that I have when it comes to life. This too shall pass. Evil is just part of the duality of spiritual existence. It controls your emotions, how you feel, good or bad. While we are riding along in this cloud of goodness and thinking, oh my God, there's evil upon us. It's all part of this divine thing. If it wasn't, it wouldn't exist. But it's always existed. From the first evolution of a human being till today. have stress about trying to find something to eat. You have stress about diseases. You have stress about natural phenomenon, earthquakes, floods, like what happened in Texas, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, and typhoons. You're stressed about lightning storms. Nature stresses you out. And if you're in the wrong place, don't blame God. Don't say that God is punishing you for your sins because you were stupid enough to build a city a mile away from Mount Vesuvius, which is a volcanic mountain. If you decide to settle in the chaos of nature, because nature offers you a lot of chaos designed to build nature. Volcanic eruptions builds land, creates islands. Hurricanes have a purpose. If you're around when it's happening, too bad for you. But a hurricane, that bad thing that you have in your mind has to happen for you to move to the next level of existence, whatever that level is, whether it's level of existence in terms of the physical makeup of the world or you as a person. Stress is part of what it is. It is how you handle it that makes the difference. And then Okediba talked about peace, which generally refers to a state of tranquility, harmony, an absence of conflict and violence. Peace is only possible because of chaos, stress. To achieve peace, you must deal with chaos and stress to get peace, because without chaos and stress, peace doesn't exist. You cannot define peace without chaos, and you cannot define chaos without peace. They're opposites. Left eye, right eye. Left nostril, right. Left lung, right heart, all that. Left hand, left leg, right leg. Sky, up, down, land, water. Opposites. That's what life is about. And we have to be able, as Okediba said, persevere. And what is perseverance? It just means a continued, steadfast, or persistently, how do you say, being able to get over difficult situation, your opposition, being able to get over discouragement. It implies a strong commitment to a task or belief, even when you're faced with challenges. You persevere, because that is the only way to deal with your challenges, through perseverance and spiritual fortitude that tells you, even though it's bad, it's part of this cauldron of life that Chineke, in Chineke's infinite wisdom, has created an environment that sustains life with all its chaos and everything that you could find wrong or good about life, whatever it is. The bottom line is simply this: this too shall pass. Chaos is part of life. There's chaos in Africa. Even in the village, when you think there's no, how do you say, violence or anything bad that is going on and all that. I remember in my village, at least in the old days, I don't know to what extent they're doing it now, but you actually get up or leave your house around 4 a.m. And you have to walk so many miles, maybe a couple of miles. And in ancient Africa, 2 miles into the bush is a lot of miles. It's a lot of distance where people go to farm. They have to get up at 5 a.m. That's stress. You don't get enough sleep. Then you have to walk at night with some kind of lamp, avoiding snakes and pythons and whatever crazy animals are there, particularly snakes. So we carry bitter cola in our pockets. They hang it around their necks and they go at 4 a.m, walking 2-3 miles, depending on where the farm is, to go and farm. That is stress. Then they got to walk all the way back. No cars, no nothing. Then they got to prepare a meal. Then they have to do all those responsibilities they have to do within 24 hours. That's stress. There's no internet. The modern conveniences that we have today that we take for granted, they didn't have it over there. I was watching a documentary about England back in the dark ages, in the 16th century, 15th century. And the sanitation issues, talk about challenges, talk about stress. The sanitation issues that the European had, the way the European lived We were living like we were living on some mountain, just having a good time, all kinds of scientific discoveries that make life easier for people in Africa. Not to say that we have modern conveniences, that's not what I'm talking about, but it's just the way the society was structured to deal with things like feces, for example, bowel movements, stuff like that. The River Thames was known to be the most polluted river in the world. People throw dump in there. People take a dump in there. People pour feces from the window outside. Too bad for you if you're standing down there. People, there's a word they say before they throw the feces out into the street. That's what people were living. People were smelling all over the place. Houses were stinking. There was never a time in Europe that you could catch any kind of fresh air, not even in the bush. People were stinking so bad because all that stuff clung to them. There were no toilet papers and all that. The point I'm making is humanity have survived all manner of crap. And we're still here. You're still here. You've persevered. You've dealt with the stress. We're on the stress right now, but we will persevere. You're going to have peace, but please understand that all these conditions are temporary, because for them to continue to exist, the opposite must also continue to exist. It's part of life. Stress is going to be there. You can't get away from it. It is how you handle it that makes the difference. I am what I am by the grace of Chineke. And if you don't like it, let the door hit you, and you can make up the rest of the
So
that's it. That's what I got for now.
okay. Divya Chedros, Mama. Thank you, Divya. Yeah,
thanks.
Okay.
Also for you.
Dibi Marikao.
Welcome.
Yeah. How's the condition back home? Give us a little insight on what's going on before we get to you on this topic that we're on.
Just like you said, we have gotten used to the storm.
Yeah.
We have gotten used to the storm, so we now know how to manage the storm.
Yes. That's life. I like that. And like Divya said earlier on in the program, it's going to always be there. Don't fool yourself thinking that there was a time there was all peace and everybody walked, with a ground cover with gold. All that, it's nonsense. It's total nonsense. Doesn't exist.
All it is it's a matter of being honest with ourselves.
Yes.
And understanding that everybody has the right to exist and not buckle down. That we cannot, in no way can we back away from understanding that everybody has the right to exist. Nobody is superior to anybody. I am not superior to anyone, and nobody is superior to me. The only person spirit superior to me is Chineke. My father, the only thing greater than you is the sun, the greatest manifestation of Chineke. Now, unless you are the sun, there is no way you can walk around saying that you're superior to me. You're not superior to nobody. You're superior. Manage yourself. Manage yourself. Don't try and manage other people to the extent that you diminish their humanity. That's what's going on around the world, and we need to all human beings need to reach out to each other and say no. We everybody's good. Everybody has the right to live. And Dibia Chedo said the conversation is finding peace in the midst of mayhem. Your thoughts?
Well, I think I've listened to the two of you speak comprehensively on this matter. For me, I think it's a topic that falls within the realm of what I describe as chaste virtue ethics. Because the only way you can meander in the midst of the mayhem in the world, the turmoil in the world, is to follow the path of virtue. And this resonates again with the concept of GK, because I remember those days as I was growing up, Perukome would always sing a song. ama m na ihe ọla mere mberede ka eji ama dike.
You
Yes.
see?
So I know what to do, but I don't know what tomorrow will bring. No matter the circumstance, what makes me a DK is that I'll be able to manage the situation, to control it, to adapt to it. And so the word here is learning how to adapt, being flexible and dynamic, not being rigid, yet being steady, having steady character. Because the DK is, who is the DK? The DK is a man or a woman who is wise, brave, courageous, responsible, responsive, resourceful, innovative, practices morals, lives by morals, and practices moderation, regulation, self-check, has conscience, and is economical in managing the most heinous, most calamitous situation with the fewest resources. That's what makes a DK. And that's why being a DK begins from having comprehensive knowledge of who you are. Because you can manage nothing. You can manage nothing if you cannot manage yourself. And that's the point that Okedibia just made. The point she just made is manage yourself. Don't manage me to the point of stupor, whereby Obangonye, Maya Dabulaya, Maya Lawafulo, let guests not pester the host to such extent that the host become overburdened. That is being parasitic and saprophytic. So we are talking about a world where we develop virtue, whereby life becomes symbiotic between us and nature, between the right and the left, between back and front, between past and present and future. That's the world of chi spirituality, where we manage everything to the middle. And it entails high level of virtue, knowing the ways of fidelity, frugality, prudence, and facing up, being honest with self, facing up with the facticities of life. So, for instance, I am born poor, born blind, tall, short, and what people consider born a dame, because I've seen in Nigerian Nollywood there are some dames like Aki and Popo, and there's one other one, other ones, and of recent you see a very smallish person. You think she's a girl, barely 3 feet tall, but she acts, and I think she's if you're talking about fame, she's famous than someone like me. If you're talking about being rich and wealthy, she's wealthier, she's more connected. And so it means making advantage of the most heinous situation, learning how to turn adversities into advantages and amplifying advantages to be stronger, and then learning how to act selflessly such that your actions not only profit yourself, but profit you and those around you. Once you follow this path, you always find peace, because you have not converted or perverted anybody's resource, such that when they say, hey, say, yeah, who's going there? There are people who are rich, but if you live with them in their home just for a day, you discover they're never at peace. If a fly passes or a car screeches outside, they become afraid. They begin to look through the window. And so such people, they are always on the defensive. All right. And that's the life of those who oppress others. So if you look at Europe today, particularly countries like France and Britain, and those countries that are parasite on others, saprophyte on others, you discover that they're always on the edge. They are always thinking inwards on how they can build wealth from within. They're always thinking of how to exploit others, how convert what you have, pervert what you have. That can never lead to a life of temperance. It can never lead to self-management. It never lead to a life of live and let live. It's going to encourage a life of win all, you lose all. And with that, mayhem in the world will continue. So our ancestors knew all of these, and so they said the way to go about it is to live and let live. So because the thing there is that if you go to the jungle, the hawk is never a match for the eagle, because the food that the hawk has just eaten, or the falcon has just eaten, ends up in the stomach of the eagle. And if we are to live in the society as civilized human beings, then we have to build society on ugu, respect, reciprocity of respect. Reciprocity of respect between man and woman, parents and children, and between us as human beings and our own environment and the cosmos. Because whether we like it or not, we are all products and children of the cosmic evolution. And us being the highest point of evolution here on earth, we are just tenders of the garden. We are shepherds of the flock. We are not overlords, because what touches the nose touches the throat, the nose, and every part of the body. And so, Chi spirituality is inviting us to the path of virtue, and we should follow that path of virtue. With that, we'll be able to have self-management, self-confidence, self-esteem, learning how to question self before we act, looking before we act, and learning how to look into ourselves, remove the logs in our eyes, so that when people see us, they see a transparent individual who is accountable, responsible, and responsive in managing the recurrent problems of the world. That's the message Chi's movement has for us on this matter. Thank you.
Bravo. Nice. We can't hear you again.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I had myself muted. But it's so interesting. There's an Igbo proverb that says, "Ijiji enwere uche, ya na ozu na-akpa." Ijiji enwere uche na ya na ozu na-akpa. When you don't use your good sense as a leader, let me talk about leaders. If you don't have good sense and you don't surround yourself with good people, you will never lead peacefully. You will always be surrounded by rot. Because if you surround yourself with people, as a matter of fact, there is also a Ghanaian proverb that emphasizes that. When a king has good counselors, his reign is peaceful. When you surround yourself, and I'm looking at some of these leaders in the world that are surrounding themselves with counselors who are not telling them the truth, not telling them what they need to know so that they can create peace in their home countries. It's the same thing as Ijije enwere uche ya na ozu na-akpa. If you don't have any good, if you're not smart and you surround yourself with bad people, the consequences of your reign will be nothing but rot. You don't know no better than your counselors do. You're surrounding yourself by people who don't know any better, who don't understand. It's not about power. It's not about how much power you have. It's how much peace you can create with the power you have. I'm always looking to, what's his name? Ibrahim Traore. He's going through a lot of problems right now. But the good news is he's surrounding himself with people who understand the good he can do if he shows interest in his own people. If you ask me, what does a leader have to do to create peace? It's not jailing people. It's not throwing people in jail. That's not how you find peace. Because the people you throw in jail have family who will not forget. You may lock somebody up. You may kill somebody. But that's not where it ends. You're just stirring something up. When you look at anti-corruption that Abraham Traore has created, I don't know how many of you are aware of it. The transparency and accountability that this man has put in place, everybody, and that's the thing, he has buy-in. The people buy into his vision because he values the people. He values everybody. So he does things that will bring peace by having buy-in. You can't dictate to people what you want and expect peace to come from that. It wouldn't come from that. See, when people are afraid of you, it doesn't mean they respect you. If you want to stop something from happening, get the community to buy into it. Don't just impose it. Because in Burkina Faso, for instance, the anti-corruption stance he has, it's not just he said, oh, if you're corrupt, we're going to do this, we're going to do. No. He makes the community come into the picture. He gets advice from the community. What do you think we should do to handle this? There's buy-in. Peace involves taking into consideration how other people feel. If you make it all about yourself, you may win for the moment, but you will not win in the long run. That is not a joke. That's real.
He said,
those are simplistic, you may say, but it has a lot of meaning inside of it. When we say Ndewo, Ndewo just doesn't mean, and you guys know, that doesn't mean just hello. It means Ndo. Ndo. Ewo. Long life for all of us. Not just for me, but for my neighbors, for my children, for my cousins, for my sub-community. If you have it and your neighbor doesn't have it, and you kuabia, your neighbor will get jealous if everything belongs to you.
Yeah.
There's a song we sing for children.
yeah.
Mother will bring and give to the child. Father will bring and give to the child. But when the child gets his own, he holds it behind him. And the mom and dad are saying, is that how it is? Do you think you can hide it from us? Is your hand bigger than mine? Is your hand bigger than your father's or your mother's? But that's how when you get rich, you are taking money from the poor because they pay for your wealth. You didn't get rich by yourself. For all those who think superior because they have money, you got rich because of the poor people who invested in your product. And watch how quickly you will get poor when they don't buy anymore. Why are businesses shutting down? Why? They are shutting down because there are no buyers anymore. People are not buying anymore. When people stop buying your stuff, you're not going to remain rich. Poverty will find you eventually. There are people who used to make millions and millions a year, but they lost everything. Somehow, nature is such, or Chineke has a way to teach us a lesson. Because when in our glorious times, when things are glorious for us, we don't know it. We have to find somebody to show, yeah, you know, I'm better than you. I'm rich. I'm a billionaire. I'm a millionaire. I got this. I got that. But you forget that somebody bought your stuff. Which millionaire got rich? Dibia Yudi. Which millionaire got rich buying from himself?
Nobody.
Listen, if it will happen like that, I'll be the richest woman in the world. Just buy from myself. When 2 people buy from you, you make more money. When 3, when 4, when 5, that's how you build wealth. People supporting your program or your products. But you can't, after you get to the mountaintop, refuse to help to pull people up. Instead, you pour hot water on them so that they don't come up and be where you are. You burn them in the process. This place, this roof, this top belongs to me. You can't come up here. So we set fire on them. We do everything to undermine their well-being. Destroy everything that helps the people who are struggling. So if we want to find peace in this world, we have to do what the Ghanaian proverb says. Make sure you surround, if you're going to lead, make sure you surround yourself with good counselors. Otherwise, you cannot, because they said that a person who does not encourage peace while he's wealthy will not live, well, the wealth will not last. Your wealth will not last. It will be a temporary thing. And I just want to say something about the United States right now. The United States used to be the greatest, one of the greatest nations, but things are not going well, very well. People are, even tourism is suffering. Because you have to create an environment of peace. Americans, you have to know that you must create an environment of peace for people to come to you, to spend their money, to make you the big country you used to be. That goes for every nation in the world. Whatever made you wealthy, whatever made you powerful, stick to it. Stick to it. Because when you change and you go the other way, when you get so big that now you feel that people are not worth it anymore, it's
this conversation, well, looking at what's going on in the world today and trying to decipher some of this, craziness. It took me back to, I had to kind of revisit history and how things kind of worked in Europe, so on and so forth, which was totally different from how it worked in Africa back in the 5th century, I think it was, 5th, 6th century, 3rd century, something like that. You had the situation with the barons and the serfs, where the serfs were tied to the land. The land was owned by the barons, and the barons, the serfs worked the land for the barons. Let's say 100% of a serf's a product or what they produced on that land, the baron will probably get about 80% of it, and the serf will get 10%, which keeps them poor. It's not a lot, but at least they got food in their stomach, a place to sleep and work, which is really to toil till you die. That's what you did. And then the barons, the upper class, enjoyed everything. Back in I think it started after the fall of the Roman Empire, and then after the Roman Empire fell, up until the 13th century, I think it was, in western part of Europe, the serf game and the baron things started subsiding, but in Eastern Europe, it continued. So they brought that same serf mentality to the Americas, for example, to North America when they came here. Those that they met here, they had to subject them to do, or, to be bound to their will, the will of the oppressor, the people that came from, Europe. And as time went on, as they got rid of the local population and then started importing Africans and enslaving Africans over there, it started to take that baron serf, a mix, where the rich landowners got the rest of us here gagging, begging for scraps, just happy to be alive, regardless of what our condition is. At least I'm not dead. So we do whatever it is, overlook what the baron does, and just keep faith with the idea that I have food in my stomach, I have a place to stay, and it doesn't really matter what happens to anybody else as long as I'm in good standings with the Baron, my master, and he allows me to do certain things. It's okay. And that's how they came to Africa with that same mindset. Even Leopold of Belgium did the same thing, but he went a step further. He just annihilated anybody who didn't bend to his will or who didn't keep up with any kind of quota. The difference comes in terms of the violence that is perpetrated on the serf, on the slave. You know, serf, slave, same thing to me. Only the difference is one of them, as long as you're producing, it's all good. But you can't have more than the 20% you're getting out of the 100% you're doing. The one on the other hand, who's the slave, is do what I tell you, I'll kill you, I'll rape you, I'll lynch you, I'll do all kinds of stuff. And while I'm at it, while the serf was not being convinced not to be Christian or whatever the heck they were, the Africans was being forcibly converted to something that is not part of their African primordial core. So you become somebody different. Shiism is trying to get you closer to your roots, for you to understand how this whole spiritual thing works, for you to understand your own responsibility in the universe, for you to understand that you're one with Chi, the creator of the heavens and earth, who is your source of inspiration. In everything you do, your strength and your protector. Everybody that believes in Chineke believes that. And if we believe that and we live our lives based on this spiritual tenet, then I think we can begin to see some commonality between all of us, where we now begin to understand that each one of us has a right to exist. Diversity is divine. Nobody is more hallowed or revered than any other human being in the eye of God. We're all created the same, as far as I'm concerned. Man, woman, different hues, usually based on geography and location. Chineke just didn't go and create the white man. Chineke just didn't go and create the black man. Chineke just didn't go and create the Chinese, the Japanese, the Australians, all that. All that came out of Central Africa. And our skin tone and our hair and everything changed because the environment that we migrated to coming out of Africa demanded some evolution to be applied to our being. So the white man evolved because it's snow up there. It's cold with the long hair and all that stuff to deal with that cold. While the African in the hot African sun developed nappy hair to shield you from the sun. We have to understand human history if we really want to. If you really want to deal with your stress. Not only do you have to look at the spiritual component that Dibia Chiedozie had talked about, but you have to look at reality, history, what it's been like, where we are today, to help determine what the future is going to look like. And I'm here to tell you, unequivocally, spiritually speaking, we are probably even worse now. Because a lot of the evil that we perpetrate on ourselves is absolutely unnecessary. It's only based on greed and hate and racism. And in the end, it gets you nothing but stress, but violence. And also, OKDB had talked about the rich, those people in power, the barons who take advantage of the serfs, the slave owners who take advantage of people they enslave. They all have to understand, without those people that you're stepping on, that you're treating like they're less than, you have nothing. We're the ones, they're the ones that buy your products, that buy your cars, that buy your Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Your glasses, buy cream to put on your body, the shave, or you shave your face. They buy it. There ain't enough millionaires in this world to make another millionaire a millionaire based on that product, unless you decide to just buy $1 million worth of goods for your millionaire friend so you could put $1 million in your pocket. But the way you end up being a millionaire, for the most part, not all the time, you may win a lottery and everything, but it's by little drops of water make a mighty ocean. It's by stress that you have to overcome. It's by the hard work that you have to put in. And it has to be consistently, all the time, just like a drop of water. Bang, bang, bang. It keeps dripping until the tub is full, until you end up with an ocean. This is exactly how we have to deal with one another, how we have to deal with everything that we do in life. It doesn't come at once. It's step by step, but you have to know where you're going. If it is peace that you seek, it is step by step. You have to have an understanding of who you're trying to have this peace with. You have to understand their story. You have to, how do you say, appreciate their right to exist and appreciate their right to, how do you, what's the word for it? To address their condition. It's part of human nature. Nobody just lays down and lets you stomp all over them. Self-preservation is key to life. It's the number one rule of life. Self-preservation. The number one rule of life is not your preservation. It is mine first. Then I can deal with you. Because if I'm dead, I can't deal with you. And if I'm dead, I can't change anything. So I have to persevere. I have to understand why I'm in this condition. I have to understand what are the factors that influenced my life where I'm in this condition now, whether it's personal, whether it's societal. People, let's understand one thing. Humanity has been through all manner of hell since the creation of humans, and we've overcome it. We will overcome this one too. But the problem is not overcoming. The problem is after you overcome it, where do you go from there? How do you make it not happen again? Well, here's the bad news. It will happen again at some point in time. The only difference is you might be dead when it happens again. Because at the time it was happening, you weren't even born then. We happen to be in a time where it's happening now. We're just part of this history. In Nigeria, we had a civil war. Millions of people died. We were caught up in time. We are part of the stress. It happened when I was born. When you were born, you understand? That's how it goes for everybody out there. We are products of time frames. What we are going through right now has always happened. It just depends on if you are alive when it happened. We weren't alive during World War II, but you better believe it was bad, wasn't it? For everybody in the world that Hitler touched, and it was bad for some Africans that had to go fight for the Europeans, like my father, who was a medic in the British Army, who formed the Nigerian Legion. You could check that. Was the founder of the Nigerian Legion. Go check it. And it happened because of Cassin's Desert. And when it happened, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe called him up, made him an editor at the West African Pilot, gave him a whole column to vent his frustration against British rule. That's how the National Church of Nigeria was born. And that's how Chiism, Godianism came into existence. Not as anything new, but part of what we've always done. But the fight for independence dictated that we needed to showcase African spirituality to let the world know that we're capable of civilized behavior. But as far as what we're going through right now is concerned, it's happened before. Think of our forefathers as people of African ancestry that had to get to this room they call like a point of no return, get on that boat. Some of them fed to the sharks because they're sick, they can't make it. Some of us died and they're fed. To the point that sometimes when the enslavers ran out of food, they would kill a slave and eat that slave. This is the kind of stress that we've been through. And we came here in the Americas, wherever we were dropped off, we toiled, we suffered, we were raped, we were murdered. We were told we were less than. Our culture was taken from us. We were treated like people that had no sense of civility before the European came to Africa. We went through the slave trade, the Middle Passage, the civil wars. We went through Leopold in Congo. We went through colonization and all that stuff that happened to us. And according to the words of, I can't remember her name, she's a very famous we rise. And we still rise. Continue to rise. because we've always raised it. Because we have no expectation that the world is a peaceful place, because it's never been. But what we have learned is that we need to stay. We need to love. We need to practice
your
what I don't know what happened. It just, I'm over here and it just went on for me. But anyway, point is, we always overcome these difficulties. I'm using the slave thing as an example and all that stuff.
UD's mic is acting up. Sorry, UD. As soon as you can fix that, then I'll bring you back in so you can finish your thought. But Dibiache Dozie, Akachi has asked a question that I would like you to answer, and then I'll give my 2 cents in addition to that, and then UD also will do the same. So Dibiache Dozie, could you respond to Akachi's question? Do we have distinct mind, spirit, chi, and soul, or what are the components of such concepts from Igbo philosophy? How is it significant, each component?
Well, let me start by saying that for us, the Igbo, Chukwukikabiama can be seen as universal mind. That's the mind that brought everything to be. That's the way to look at it, the first instance. And then we are individual minds that came out of Chukwukikabiama. And so every other thing in the universe is a mind, because the earth itself is a mind. Because if it's not a mind, it would not practice regularity. Everything that we know, we derive from our knowledge of the earth and the cosmic, which is Chukwukikabiama itself. Then that the thing there is that when you talk about mind at outside, every other thing has developed its own peculiarity of mind. And mind for us will consist of determiner of what you call Onwe, the self, which consists of Eke, Agu, na Chi. Now, Eke is what every individual thing has taken, that portion, that spark you took from the universal mind, and it's female, and it's the Eke that attracts the chi. And so that's why anytime someone has a bad chi, you have to correct the Eke. If you go to the Dibia, it's the expert in psychiatry, is the Eke the correct. Once the Eke is corrected, then Eke will attract a good chi. And then that will give birth to a good Agu, because Agu will help us to either tilt towards negativity or positivity. Now, so soul is the same thing as psyche or mind. When you talk about soul, it's the same thing as psyche or mind. Mind, for me, is just the power to be conscious, the power to think, the power for self-awareness. So in the first instance, what mind entails is individuality, subjectivity. Mind enables me to understand who I am as an individual. As an individual, I am a mind. However, beyond the individual, the essence of social existence is about complementarity. Ibwa indanda, igobike, mbikota abondo. So it now behoves on every society to develop a system of social mind, social consciousness, that will create either communal wealth or wealth that is left in the hands of a few individuals. So that's the essence of social consciousness or social mind. It's in this instance that one of the Western philosophers, Karl Marx, will say that social consciousness determines individual consciousness does not determine social consciousness. But for us in Igbo, both are pari passu. Social consciousness did not create itself. It is created by the human beings, individuals, deliberately or inadvertently. Deliberately, when the wise in council The virtuous in council creates a system that favors everyone. Then social consciousness, like Dibia Ochaja and Dibia have explained, social consciousness will favor everybody, whereby we develop an economic system that is extended based on the principle of Ibo Indanda solidarity. No one is left out of the chain, built on humanism. No one is left out of the chain. Mechanisms are put in place to make sure no one is homeless, no one is naked, no one is hungry. Now, that if you look at it, that system, if you have those who are not veterans, like Traore is trying to create in Burkina Faso by involving the people. That's the African way.
Yes.
Be involving the people, bringing humanism. That's what he's trying to do, making sure that he bridges this individuality, because every individual is a point in the society. And if there is no coordinating point, every individual stands like a tree on its own. Here is that in hands aloof, every tree is connected to another tree. Even the Iroko that first of all gathers position. After gathering position, it now provides shields for other lesser shrubs to grow under it. Meanwhile, before it grows, it may not allow them to grow because it has to gather its own position. But having gathered its position, it ceases to be selfish. It communicates by root and by shade, providing shade for other lesser trees to either grow on it, epiphytes grow on it, or shrubs grow underneath it. Because there are trees that require direct sunshine. So they are shielded by the Iroko tree to grow in the appropriate way that they are structured. Now, that means that what you call social consciousness is what we deliberately build. And always best that the wise in council, the decay, are the ones in charge. It's one of the reasons
he is frozen. Hopefully he will
developing the institution. We were very, very sluggish in developing the institution of monarchy. Rather, we built more of a republican system. And even our monarchical system is not a draconian one-man monarchical system. It was a republican monarchical system by which the Igwe or the Eze is just a symbol of authority, not power, symbol of authority. And there is no time the Igwe or the Eze says, "Ihemse," what I said. What is the Eze in council? What he asks in council is, is that what the society, community has agreed? And when he says yes, he will ask again, he will ask the women. Yes, will say yes, they agree. The men, do you agree? Children, do you agree? Say yes. Okay, if that's what all of us have agreed, then he takes his staff and stamps it on the ground. It becomes Okpabi, final seal. And that becomes a law. Whatever has been agreed is passed into law. For you to go and argue against it again, you have to go through the channel to lodge your complaint and to be looked at from the family to the clan, Obu, then to the village before it will get down to back to the Igwe or king. So you see that for us, the king is just a symbol of authority that we have put there to make sure that the norms and morals and the virtues we have created for ourselves hold some symbol of all-powerful, almighty Leviathan. Now, the opposite of this is the system that Dibia Ochaja has described, whereby it is built on Zobu, stampede. If you are more powerful, you take the day. And so that now led to capitalism, even though they've tried to tame it by taxing the overreach and giving to the poor. But they keep making those who are according to their ability, because that's the problem of capitalism. Each according to his or her own ability, they keep giving them accolade. So if you have the ability to amass all the wealth, go ahead. If you have, and then amassing all the wealth leads to what Okedibia said. I become rich because I exploited others. I become rich so others can be poor. That may not necessarily obtain under a communalistic system that is built on tithe giving. You give back for every wealth you make, you give back a percentage. And that was there in traditional times. So this issue of tithe giving, a tithe was not made for one man the way it is in the church. It was not made for a particular organization. It was made for upkeeps of the community. And that is why if we went to the king's palace, nobody went to the king's palace except the poor, but every rich person, everyone who had one thing, who had one thing or the other, if you are going to the chief priest's place, or if you are going to, you always work with something. But it is impossible for you to go to the Igwe's place or the chief priest's place and return empty stomach or without a gift if you are poor. They always give back. So you see, it's something that's complementary, it's cyclical, and it's distribution of wealth based on equity. And so that is the way I will handle that question. Minds are individual, but as rational beings, we have to build a social mind, which we call the social consciousness. That social consciousness determines the politics and the economy of each particular group. And it is always best that we organize social consciousness to take care of every individual, so that every individual becomes a kingdom of end in themselves, meaning that nothing should be prized over and above human beings. Once we prize anything over and above human beings, that thing takes priority over human beings. Say, for instance, once we take money or car or any material thing to be over and above human being, we will sacrifice human beings to get those things. That's the situation in Nigeria today, whereby human parts are cheaper to buy than cow buy meat in the market. That's the situation we are in today in Nigeria. So human parts are traded anyhow, and that's because the human being organs are being harvested anyhow. That's because money has become priority over the human being. So the human being can be killed, chopped, the parts taken, and put in the market space. So that's why any community has to survive. It must treat its citizens, even the idiot, even the imbecile, must be treated as a kingdom of end. That's what makes society. And that way will solve the problem of individual minds or subjective minds.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to pick up something you said, which is so true. When we visit even the king, the poor person will bring whatever they have to the king, because there is nothing like, oh, I'm so poor that I'm not up to the king. Whatever I have, I will give the king, and the king will accept it, because the idea is not to look down upon you, okay? But to see you, maybe you don't have the same money that I have, but you're worth something. Whatever you bring to me is significant. That makes you significant, So some of those practices are going away when you find somebody who's wealthy now. A poor person feels, well, I'm not good enough, so I have nothing to give, because the rich will look down on me. It is not in the best interest of the rich to look down on the poor, because I want to address. Thank you for your explanation about the mind, and in Igbo language. Now, let me make this clear. Even though we're Igbos, the Igbos are diverse in thought as well. Even their language can be different, right? In my Igbo land, mind is amamihe. amamihe. I said,
Yeah.
that amamihe, do you have any mind? Where's your mind? Because your mind refers to the cognitive processes. That's what you think with.
Yeah.
That's why they say amamihe. Amamihe. He has good cognitive skills. This person is a person with good cognitive that includes your thoughts, your perceptions, your values. Onya amamihe. Dibia Chiedozie said that we should be moving towards collective amamihe. Because one person having, if we have more and more people with amamihe and we come together, right?
Oh,
We
greatness.
you have to create a kind of community. So onya amamihe, Akachi, I want you to know that word. Amamihe is associated with your brain, the functioning of your brain, which is like Dibia Chiedozie said earlier, it is part of your consciousness. It is associated with your consciousness. What do you know? Somebody is talking to you and they say, do you understand? They're talking about amamihe, your mind, your cognitive skills. What are you able to, absorb based on what you're seeing, based on what I'm saying? And if all the people in the community will bring those with good amamihe, because let's be clear, not everybody will have good amamihe, so we don't really want, but if you have those who have good cognitive skills, high morality, people who have high consciousness, when they come together to work for the benefit of the community does well. And that's why my hero, quite frankly, is Ibrahim Traore. He has amamihe.
Yeah.
He understands, and he brings
plenty of it.
Plenty of it. Then when you talk, so in effect, Akachi, each one of us have our own distinct mind. Okay, because our mind also is influenced by what's around us, what we've seen, our experiences, what we've been taught, and our ability to absorb what we've been taught and what we do with it. Our high consciousness is all part of our amamihe. Each one of us have our own, but when we bring it all together to do good for the community, for the whole, that's when you find a community that does well, just like what you find in Burkina Faso. Let me tell you, amamihe in Burkina Faso, the whole community came together to start a tomato mill. It wasn't the government that paid for it. Are you aware of that, Dibia Children and Dibia UD? It wasn't the government that paid for it. It was the community.
Wow.
The community came
like minds thinking. Like minds.
And now they're using it to employ young people. They're using it to employ their women. They're using it to employ men. They're using that collective effort, collective amamihe. They understood what will happen if they collectively put their money together and built this, that it was not going to be just to make tomato paste, but it will provide jobs. Now they have packaging. They are packaging tomato paste throughout Africa.
I mean, it's so amazing, man. It's just an amazing thing.
And it was not the government that gave them money. Ibrahim Traore has amamihe. That's why he pulled the community together. And they used their collective amamihe. I'm stressing that word. So when we talk about mind English, Igbo, amamihe. And then the spirit itself, obi matter. Obigi is your spirit. Obigi is also that part of you that's connected to Chineke. It has spiritual connection. It is through your obi. So the spirit component of who we are is what we use to connect obi. It may connect to the spiritual world, to Chineke. Okay, to the life force, whatever you call Chineke. That is what our spirit is, to connect us to the higher source. and everybody has their own way of doing it. See, that's why Dibia Yudi and Dibia, that's why it's so important for us to understand everybody has the right to go to God the way they understand best.
Yeah.
Because we don't have, when it comes to the spirit, we don't have the same. Now we can collectively worship Chineke as we do as Chias, okay? But every other person has a different spiritual connection. Obi, tell me if I'm wrong. And it's all connected. The Obi is connected to our belief system. If what our ancestors did, what our community did, what is in our culture, particularly as it pertains to getting to Chineke. That's our spirit. And Dibia Yudi. Now I want you to talk about Chi.
Well, Chi is the spiritual connection of your existence with whatever it is that keeps you, how do you say, doing the right thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's your relationship with your conscience. And quite frankly, without your conscience, you won't even talk about any Chi or anything like that. Because you don't have the opposites of good and bad does not exist in your head or in your spirit or in your heart. So you just have absolutely no idea. Your Chi is your, how do you say? It's your second eye. Your first eye is your physical form. Your Chi is the second one, right? That's your connection to your conscience. And it's your conscience that guides your life, nothing else. It's not about a spiritual thing. The spiritual thing is great, but if you don't have a conscience or develop a conscience because you're spiritual, then you have nothing spiritual to give to the world. Your behavior will not be a blessed one. So everybody around you will always have this negative, how do you say, opinion of who you are. But your Chi is your strength. It's your energy. It's what makes you a spiritual human being. It's what connects you between what you should do as a human being and how you should relate to your environment and your fellow human beings and what it is you want as a person. Having Chi allows you or gives you an understanding that the community comes before you do, because if the community is successful, you are successful. And for you to have any kind of relationship that is divine, you must be in touch with your Chi, your inner self, your spirit. What do they call that? The id? Madubuchi bear. What does that mean?
To each other.
Yeah. Madubuchi ibe, all those blessings that you're looking for is just right. It's your neighbor. Yes, right? There's nothing up in the sky. There's no. That's your neighbor right there. That's your Chi. Because people talk about the Chi, it's always a personal. My Chi, my Chi, my Chi. No, yeah, it is true. But Madubuchi ibe, which is part of our spiritual tenet, it's talking about the other guy. It's not talking about you. It's talking about the other guy. That Chi there is the one that can save you when things go bad. Chi is not just about you. Chi is the guiding force that gives humanity, individuals, conscience, and it's your bridge between Chineke and the living. You must know yourself. You must understand your purpose. You must understand the purpose of your neighbor. You must have an understanding that diversity is divine. Your opinion is not all that matters. That's what your Chi does for you. It's your guiding light. Don't look for Chineke and your Chi somewhere else. It's in you. And everything that is living has the spirit of Chi in it. Your human being, your neighbor, your dog, that plant out there, the bee, the insect.
Mm-hmm.
She exists in all living things. And even when you look at the air, you know, most people look at air and say the air is not a living thing. Yes, it is. If it's not a living thing, it wouldn't exist. It's made of components. The air we breathe is just not, it's a collection.
Mm.
The air we breathe is just as powerful as the animal you see over there that you can't exist without. You can live, but you will die.
Mm.
Life is about an appreciation of this spiritual component that is a bridge between your conscience
Mm-hmm.
and living a life of acceptance with your neighbor. That's your guardian angel. Without it, you don't live. Living for us, it's not just about breathing. It's not just about the physical makeup of you. Living is also, addresses the spiritual component of your existence. And that spiritual component of your existence is your chi.
Mm-hmm.
That's your guiding light.
Mm-hmm.
Your chi, the explanation of chi is simple. That's your guiding light. That's your bridge between physical understanding of your existence and how you're supposed to behave. Your chi is your spirituality, not your religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's your guiding force. It's the guiding spirit. It's the one that tells you the difference between right or wrong. It is your conscience. It is everything that makes you think on the spiritual level. That's your chi. That's your other existence. That is the spiritual component of your physical existence, of which without there is no you.
Mm. Yes, 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 yes.
That's it.
That's and then also in when we look at Chineke, you know, the chi also represents that masculine energy,
The male
right?
essence.
The male essence.
Yeah.
And then of course a case female. I just want to answer. There's a comment that a young person here, Violet, I believe her name is Violet Celine. Why is it fair for a poor person to give to a rich person? DOCC said this. Violet Celine, I agree with you on that. Yet I believe it would only apply to a sign of respect towards the one in leadership that is giving value back to the people. That's right. That very true. I think it's important to understand that when the rich isolate themselves from the poor, that's when the poor becomes insignificant. Okay, has nothing to offer to the whole. But in our culture, it is first of all is giving reverence to people in in high office, and also them respecting you back to say thank you. There's a song we say, there's a story that has the song Ojinkoji go say boom.
Yeah.
Ojinkoji, whatever you have, bring.
Bring
It
it.
is not
Yep.
your wealth that matters. It's who you are, and whatever you give is good enough. This is not a matter of rich people should give to the poor. When you have that attitude, then you diminish the poor, okay, and make it seem like the poor, all right, what they're good for is to take. But it doesn't matter where you find yourself in this world, you have something to offer, even to the rich. And so in our culture, in our spiritual culture, we say, Ojinkoji gosa. Whatever you have, whatever you can offer is good enough. So it is not an insult. I mean, it's not a bad thing for a poor person to offer something to the wealthy. UD, I don't know why. Oh, there you go. Okay, it's not a bad thing for a poor person or to the wealthy. It just is a way for the poor person to say, I am significant, I matter, and this is what I have to give. Ojinkoji gosa. In other words, whatever you have, bring. But that's to give thanks and reverence to your leader, and then the leader recognizes your existence, recognizes that you matter. You know, unfortunately, you find the billionaires only hang with the billionaires, right? When you have that kind of culture, The billionaires hang only with the billionaires. You don't matter. So if you don't matter, then they will not do anything in your best interest because you don't matter. You don't have their billions. You don't have their millions. So you don't matter. So in our spiritual concept of Jinkoji, that means that everybody is important. Whatever you give, whatever you have, bring it. And it makes you proud. As the person who's giving, it makes you proud that you have something to give. And no matter how small, there's no guilt. Give your chance and say it's not true. You find people who give chicken.
Always look at it.
Yeah, they will take chicken, maybe one piece of yam, and the rich person will say, hey, na emailer, da emailer, dede, emailer, thank you. Go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead.
That reminds me of how when we were taught how China built its first iron and steel industry. They discovered that they didn't have enough iron ore for what they wanted to do. So what they did was to designate points all over China for people to look for metal, anything metal, even as small as a tiny staple pin, needle, any metal, whether zinc or anything called metal, assembled as designated points all over China. And they were surprised that in less than a year, they have collected what was more than enough, 10 times over what they wanted to build an iron and steel industry. That's the power of collective mind. That's the power of communalism.
Yeah.
And you see that based on that, what China has done in 10 years was to bail out about 40% of its population, over 400 million people, out of poverty. And so their emphasis is not on the richest man. Emphasis is how well they are doing as a community, as China is a community. So how well they are doing. That's emphasis. And that's exactly what OKDB and DB Ochad are saying. Because the concept in traditional Africa is Akari Kwakepe. The thing is that let the hands wash themselves so that the right hand washes the left hand and the left hand will wash, both hands will wash clean. The Yorubas also have it. So all of us have it, and that's why the broom is our symbol. The broom, one broomstick, like our people say, otum braziza nyaka. You can't even cut it once. If you want to try, get the shopper's cutlass and get the oldest broom. The older the broom, the more difficult it is to cut. If you can't cut it once, it is difficult. You have to cut it several times. And so that's the thing there. And that to make submission, that reminds me of what I wrote in one of my monographs when I talked about our economic system. Our economic system was communalistic, based on an extended system. Family was extended, grade system was extended, guild system was age grade was extended, guild system was extended. In other words, everything connected everything for checks and balances. And so with that checks and balances all over the place, nothing stood in isolation. There was no isolated point because everything was in everything. Just like the soup we make. We don't make our soup and cut tomatoes different, peppers different, ugu different. We cook everything in one pot. And so that when you are chewing your meat, you are having the taste of every other ingredient in your meat. If you are chewing your vegetable, you are having the taste of every other thing in that soup, in that vegetable. Anything that you are eating in that vegetable, you taste the whatever the taste of every other ingredient in that soup. That's our system. And so the problem we have today in Africa, by what I discussed in that particular monograph, is that we have abandoned our own extended system of economy and imbibed the individualist system of economy. And that has disemboweled our system. its assistance. That's what created this divide between the rich the rich that have and the poor that don't have. In the traditional system, for those even up to my time, we all went to the same school with the children of a president, governors. We beat them, they beat us. When they report us to their dad will say, is it not your brother? Why is his hand mightier than own? Struggling it out together. But by the time we started establishing private schools and some other kind of special schools, then the rich now started saying that their children could not go to the same school with the children of the poor. And so we started looking for some special schools for our children, and they started creating psychology for our own, the children of the rich. Even here in University of Lagos, there's a particular school that is meant for lecturers. And at a time, we revolted. Those of us who are lecturers, some people want to create the place to be for only lecturers. They can't imagine the children of mechanics and so on and so forth attending the same school with their own children. So we revolted by putting out all our own children as staff, and we took them to the public school, which is also the university school, staff school. And so let our children go there, mix up with the children of the mechanic, the driver, and then mix. Your intelligence is not determined by status. Intelligence is God-given. And so the child of the driver might be more intelligent than the child of the vice chancellor. And so why should we be ashamed of that? And so we need to mix. We need to go back to that, our system of collective economy, whereby no one was allowed to be left out. Not even the idiot, not even the imbecile was left out. Not even the drunk was left out. When the drunk is, they don't say, leave the drunk. They will make him responsible. When they want to make the drunk responsible, they know what to do. Like one of our friends who is used to drinking. And so we're warning him. And he will say, he can handle all the bottles. So one day we went for a party at the outskirts of Lagos. And then when we came to the main road, instead of facing the way back to Lagos, south, he faced north. I was going to Ibadan. We had to phone friends that were in Ibadan to stop him. When they stopped him and they brought him back, we know what we did to him. We took him before Amadioha and asked him to give a cup to Amadioha and took an oath that the day he drinks more than 2 bottles in any gathering, let Amadioha strike him dead. From that day up to now, Okeke does not drink up to 2 bottles anymore. And that's how he stopped his drunkenness. So, Madu, human being is a concept of society. The human So once you compare a child, that child is not a human being. That child is capable of becoming anything. It's capable of behaving like monkey. So it is a culture, the people that make you human being. And we have forgotten that power. Our ancestors knew it. They knew it. That was why they didn't say that God came from Europe. In fact, the Mporoma did not say that God came from Okigwe. The Okigwe man, the Squatter man, did not say God came from
True.
So I said that God came, we came directly from God. So meaning that we knew that power. But today, because of this brainwashing and everything, we don't even know that we are the ones who make ourselves human beings.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Listen, I want to address this very quickly, and then we'll continue. Akachineke, you came in a little. I don't know if you came in when I had after I had indicated what today is. Today, this is the month of Ufufe, which is June 30th through July the 27th. So I just wanted to remind you that's what this day is, the month of Ufufe. And then I just want to make a little comment about the soul. The soul is imemo. Huh? Am I right?
Yeah.
If I understand the soul, what they mean by soul, it is the intelligent part of the spirit.
Okay.
So you are right when you say it's memo, because it's intelligent part of the spirit.
Yes.
it's your inner
spirit provides animation for us, but the soul is the intelligent part that directs every part of the body. So
yes.
that's the way I
That's
describe.
our
So if you say
innermost. That's right.
more, it's okay.
More. That's right.
well
The innermost being, okay, of the person is imemo, is your more. That's your soul. Okay. It's the core of your identity. It impacts influences your morality, also impacts your consciousness, and it's considered eternal. It's ongoing. It has no end. So that when you pass away, your more doesn't die. Okay. Most of us think of it well, different communities, different societies. And I think that's why it's so important that we understand that a lot of what we share with you is not exclusive truth, because there are other countries, other communities, other societies that think about it differently. All we share is how we think about it. So it's not exclusive truth. It's not that, oh, this is the only way. No, but that's our way.
Yeah.
You take from what we give you, that's why we say add to your repertoire. Add to what you already know. You take the good, take what's good from what we share with you. What you can't use, that's okay, because of the diversity of thought, because there are different definitions of everything. Okay, even the Europeans they define the mind, body, and soul completely differently. Okay, but what's important is not so much that we have to incorporate everyone else's, but what you do know about your own, right? Hold steadfast to that. And if there's something you can take from someone else and add to what you already know about what the concept is, so be it. But that's what more the soul, the main identity of a person is stored in their soul. Your morality is part of your soul. When we say when we say that you have an evil heart, you're cold, that means that you
Evil soul.
Yeah, you have an evil soul. There's no goodness in you, because that's your soul represents who you are. So if you're mean-spirited, you're wicked, you're not thoughtful enough, or you don't care about people, and you just do things, or you go out there to kill people. That's where you say more jaw, bad spirit, because that's really what identifies the core of who you are is more. So it's important, but what's important also is to know that our interpretation, someone else may have something different, but to us, morgue is your soul. That's the key of who you are. It's morgue. Morgue you can be a good person, and that identifies you. I don't know how you say it other than more. I know my mama, and I say more ma or anything like that, but I know more jaw.
No. There's no. I've not heard of. I mean, I say bioma, but it's not. They don't use the more phrase when you're trying to describe that. You have a good soul.
I think you can talk about money.
Whatever.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I've never heard that. Yeah. But we say more job.
Yeah, more job. But more is just talk about the personality of the individual. Individuality.
Personality of the is bad. That's more job. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to say that. Now, I can't believe it. The time is up. Oh my goodness. A very interesting topic. And I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Akachi, thank you for your comments. DOCC, thank you. Moko Di Charles, thank you very much. And the young lady that joined us today, what is her name again? Let's see. Violet Celine, thank you so much for joining us today. Emeka, Thank you all for being here, joining us, and we look forward to the next one. We don't have a program to next Sunday, but we have, you remember, we do have Chiism, different aspects of Chiism live. No, wait a minute. It's not Chiism live. UD, what is it again? Gosh, I can't think of it.
What?
We're not going to meet this Sunday, but with our network, in the network, Chiism network, people can go and see all the other things that we do besides
that we've
Chiism.
done, yeah.
Because Chiism Live is part of the Chiism network. So tomorrow is Saturday. I have on tomorrow next Saturday, which is part of Chiism network. So you can certainly join me here on Saturday at 10 a.m. And all that information will be shared so that you can know how to join us. And then UD also has the African calendar, which is part of the network. Dibia Chedozie is AI. So you guys have to create all these videos so that we'll put them in the Chiism network. So people, if we don't have Chiism Live, then they know there's something else that they can go to Chiism network and see what else is posted.
Yeah, I'll put a video there next week.
In my case, I always have a Chiism Live. I mean, the show that you can join us. I have a very interesting, and I'll share that. But I have a very interesting guest this coming Sunday. She's somebody who has gone through some amazing, horrible things, and she's just came up on top. It's amazing what this woman is doing now, given where she came from. So that'll be in tomorrow's show, or this Saturday at 10 a.m. That will be posted. So all of you who have, everybody who has subscribed to tomorrow's show should get a notice of that. So anyway, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Dibia Chedozie, as always, email mama. All the everything you shared today on point. Dibia UD, what can I say? Thank you, every one of you who have joined us today. May I take thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again this time on tomorrow's show. Oh, we have a conference. I'm sorry, we have the conference, the Chiism conference that's coming up in Atlanta, in Snellville, Georgia, on the 27th. So hopefully I'll have all that information out for you, so that if you want to join, because you can see it on online. StreamYard. You'll see it on StreamYard. But we have different churches, different religions will be featured. You have Christianity, you have Islam, you have Chiism, you have Buddhism, you have what is Ifa? Ifa will be featured. We also have what is this from Jamaica? Rastafarian. They call themselves Rastafarian. Yes,
yeah, Rastas.
So we're looking forward to that, and I want every one of you who can join us to join us. Let's see, somebody before we go out, Akachineke has. I really have been wanting to know our perspective on those words and concepts we often use in here. So thankful to know our perspective. Yeah, guys, my dear sister, and so it is. So everyone, yeah, guys, mamano. Let every way of our lives be light, and all of our acts be crowned with good. And may the world prosper by the ministry of Chiism. And so it is. Yagazione.
Yagazione.